All right. So this is what happened today or yesterday. Really, it was a busy day. Umberto Gonzalez, who has thrown himself into this fight for some reason, right? Umberto has thrown himself into this whole thing. He's at this point. Look, I'm not I'm not just gonna come I don't want to call this guy like a paid opposition because I've met him and he's a nice enough guy. But given how much he has now tried to ingratiate himself, ingratiate, I think that's the word, into the Snyder Cut movement as almost like a crier for Warner Brothers, hear ye, I don't have a bell, but hear ye, Warner Brothers says this. And he did this yesterday. So this whole article was Cyborg cameo written out of Flash role. Flash role will not be recast. Because I think Grace Randolph had kicked off the day. Of course she does. And she's 0 for 2 this week, by the way. 0 for 2. And anyone who says otherwise is not paying attention. But she's 0 for 2. And she ends up, so she's talking about the cyborg role that they're currently looking for other people. And then this comes out. All right. So according to this, it says DC Films' upcoming Flash movie will no longer include a cameo by Cyborg. According to insiders with knowledge of the situation, that decision comes 1 week after actor Ray Fisher, who played the character in Justice League, was offered a cameo role in The Flash last June. He indicated that he will not participate in any production associated with current DC Films president Walter Hamada. In addition, insiders say the role will not be recast. Now, the thing with that is yesterday, or just the other day, I think right after this whole thing broke, Warner's there's this opposition came out, right? These weird reports came out. Not weird, but they suspicious. Okay, I think suspicious is a good word. So you had this whole thing. Grace comes out, says they're going to be recasting the role of Cyborg. They're currently looking for actors. Umberto comes out and says, nah, they're just not going to recast the role, but he's been written out. And then you got the report saying that Hamada has re-signed for 3 more years. And today we find out that they've already renewed Stargirl for season 3 with Geoff Johns as a showrunner. So it's it does feel like Warner's is digging the fuck in. They are just digging in and they are not budging on this one. In fact, they are rewarding people. For all this stuff. So anyway, Ray kind of came out and talked a bit about it today. For example, he says, I strongly suggest that the Wrap amend this article immediately. While I appreciate the reporter's undying desire to do WP Pictures and Walter Hamada's bidding, it is factually inaccurate. I did not publicly step down from anything. Going on to say, if Warner Brothers Pictures has made the decision to remove me from The Flash rather than address in any way Walter Hamada tampering with the Justice League investigation, that's on them. The idea of removing the role rather than recasting it is only being used to try to avoid public backlash. The Warner Brothers PR team has struggled to regain control of the narrative ever since they failed to bury me in the Justice League investigation with their September 4th hit piece, which unsurprisingly was written by the same reporter. Right? Umberto, like I said, Umberto has put himself in. He's now the guy who gets the inside info on the Snyder Cut and on Warner Brothers. And keep in mind, he said for years it was dead until magically he came out and said it's not dead. And then a couple days later, it was, confirmed to be a reality. So there's some suspicious stuff happening there. Anyway, he says, he goes on to say here, the fact is that Justice League investigation led to Warner Media and its affiliates parting ways with Joss Whedon, because that did happen around the same time. Johns will be following suit. Now, he said this 8 hours ago, which was before the Stargirl season 3 renewal. So keep that in mind. Had Walter Hamada gotten his way, none of that would have been possible, and the cycle of abuse would have continued. Finishing up here, he says, my team and I are still in deep conversation with Warner Media regarding all of these matters, Flash or no Flash. We fully intend to see this through. I'll keep you all posted, but in the meantime, thank you for your continued support, accountability over entertainment. And yeah, so that, I mean, that's a pretty like significant thing to say. You know, he came on out and it's got like 313 quote tweets and 1,300 whatever, all these other tweets here and stuff. And so hold on, there we go. The freaking article I had up, this autoplayed. God damn it. Anyway. So yeah, so we got that. So then Umberto, a couple hours later, drops this little ditty. Okay. So Ray said this at 3:58 PM. So roughly 4 PM, 3 hours later, Umberto comes out and he has to has this new scoop, this new thing. And he says, and this is from Warner Media in a statement to him. The investigation was conducted by an outside law firm and led by a former federal judge. More than 80 people were interviewed, said Warner Media in a statement on Thursday night about the Ray Fisher situation. We have full confidence in its thoroughness and integrity, and remedial action has been taken. The investigation has concluded and it's time to move on, they added. Now, I think that something about this to me seems really, really, really weird. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I just work here. But something about this, again, they write that story based off of Grace's rumor comes out. Ray doesn't say anything about it. He did address it eventually. Umberto drops this piece of information. And then they keep having this back and forth. And I know that the Ray haters, right? Like the Yay Fisher idiots out there are going to use this as some kind of gotcha. But again, it's like nothing about this really feels like it's super concrete. It just feels like it's a lot of flexing back and forth. Warner's and their PR team are trying to control the narrative. They're using Umberto Gonzalez literally as a megaphone to amplify their message because they don't want to be seen as trying to be petty. And they want to frame Ray Fisher as being illegitimate. Well, the thing is, Ray's been pushing for a long time now. And we're still moving the needle consistently, right? We're still moving it. He's getting results. They're taking some time, but he's getting results. So when I talk about staying, I stand with Ray Fisher, I still stand with Ray Fisher. I don't stand with Umberto Gonzalez because I honestly, like I said, I've met him. He's a nice guy. He's got his hookups. He's got his sources, but I don't trust his motivations. I really don't trust his motivations because, when he writes this, he breaks this thing for the Wrap. Okay. Which is an okay outlet, but he's also the founder and editor-in-chief of Heroic Hollywood, which quite frankly is just known around the blogosphere as just being the people who just, re-upload or they write articles about fan art. I don't know why he's not breaking it on his own site. He doesn't ever put any effort into his own website, which again, there's things about this I don't quite know. But I'll tell you what cracked me up though, because something else happened too. And maybe it's related in another way, but this is just my connection. Zack Snyder, even today, tweeted out Henry Cavill as Superman. Now, it's not related to Cyborg, obviously, but what it is related to is still his Snyderverse, his Superman. And this is something he put out today at 4:53 PM. So an hour after Ray came out and attacked the Wrap and Umberto Gonzalez, responded, I should say, Zach dropped this image of Henry. And I'm like, come on, man. Come on. This whole thing is connected. This whole thing is connected at this point. That's the only thing. It's the only thing that I think makes any sense is that this whole thing is connected. And Zach is running some interference for Ray. And that's what I keep thinking that when I talked about that secret war the other day, I keep talking about the concept of the cul-de-sac is the little place for the Snyderverse to exist. But here's the thing with the Snyderverse existing in a cul-de-sac. It's going to expand into a whole city. And for some reason, Warner is still really pissed off at that. They just hate it. And so they're using Umberto as a way to kind of throw shade at Ray Fisher, who is handling it like a true fucking champ.